Welcome to another episode of First Principle Thinking. Today we have a very special guest, Paul Louis Kiesow, founder and CEO of HYTRA. If you want to continue, elaborate a little bit on your introduction.
Yes, thank you very much, first of all, for the invitation. It's a pleasure. And my name is Paul Louis Kiesow from HYTRA. We are into liquid hydrogen shipping. We invented new technologies for storaging and for shipping of very, very large amounts of hydrogen. Got a huge deal back in May, 10 million euros from Qatari investor, and making now our way up in the hydrogen industry.
Sounds insane. I can see your Forbes over there. You are now in the Forbes magazine, a little bit of a flex here. How old are you right now?
I'm right now 20.
Same age, and you're already Forbes. Now I feel a little bit of pressure. So let's start with the beginning. Tell me a little bit about your founder journey, like your founder starting point.
Yes. So I started when I was 16 actually with the idea, which came up, hydrogen there, and I've been always into hydrogen. But I saw there is an opportunity to go in. And with 17, I started and founded the company actually. I met my co-founder, Christoph, on LinkedIn or some specific platform like LinkedIn. We met and we matched, and it perfectly was perfect. And now then we started developing a lot first, and then 2 years or 2.5 years, and then got a very big deal afterwards.
It sounds amazing. So let's go a little bit more in detail. So first upon hydrogen.
Yes.
How you came up with hydrogen? How did the ideation stage begin?
Yes. So I think everyone knows the universe is very powerful and it's a great thing, the universe. But when I was very young and I started thinking about universe, I've seen that hydrogen is like everywhere's hydrogen, sun and everywhere in the universe. And so I was, hydrogen has to be powerful. And this is where I started to think more about hydrogen technologies and so on. So my whole life I've been interested in it, basically.
And how did it came from ideation into deciding and make actual startup out of that? Like what was the trigger point? Was it like one individual trigger point, or was it like a phase where you decided, we're gonna do that now?
Yes, I think there was a trigger point. I was like thinking, Elon Musk did it back in the day with Tesla as well, and he's a very good role model for this.
Absolutely.
Because he was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And I was like, we can do the same in hydrogen, right? There's a small industry that's booming up, a lot of potential. Why not starting it, right? So, and this is where I tried to do.
I think from a big audience, like our young audience, you founded with 17, or when did you incorporate it?
With 17,
17.
Yes.
So I incorporated the day after my 18th birthday because I legally did not find out how to incorporate under 18. Yeah. So how did you...
So my mom did for me first, and in this, in the agreement from the notary, it was stated once I hit 18, I can directly get all the shares in the company. And so we started when I was 17, but I was not legally into a company, but my mom.
And then as soon as you turned 18, it got transferred.
Yes, because it's too hard.
Oh my God.
German government.
If you would know, it's
not
crazy.
Not possible.
It's not possible. Germany is such a bureaucracy. So, and now... you started your company. Then what happened?
So we did a lot of development for 2 or 2.5 years, and we did like software analysis, did a bit of hard work into it, a lot of time and a lot of iteries and so on. But we came to this point where it was, yes, this is it. And we did a patent. We at a German patent agency back in the day, and out of that too, actually, and we found big partners like universities, like big institutes which are working, and they were partnered with us, and we was like, now.
But so when you started out, many have this phase of perplexity where they didn't know how to actually progress. Once you started, you don't know what the next step is. How did you decide what to do next? How did you set yourself up a roadmap? Because there's no real example in this specific industry.
It's very, very hard to say generally, but you always have to value by yourself, until which point do I have to do, let's say, more work into technology, and when is the turning point for you? I cannot generally say. Maybe you can tell me, because even though we are not in the same industry, it's quite the same.
So you're both hard tech companies.
Yes.
Like Lumina is a hard tech company, also in a very difficult industry, in aerospace and in hydrogen. So both of them are like very hard tech, very not old, but slow industries usually.
Yes.
The thing is, for me, it's a little bit different. Like you said, Elon Musk as an example. For me, Lumina is significantly more similar to existing space startups from a governance perspective. Not necessarily from a technology side, but from the leadership, that there are a lot of role examples, like I could say it, that already show that it's possible, like companies like Planet Labs or something that built satellite constellations out of nowhere, or Peter Berg, founder of Rocket Lab, who also started with nothing without starting capital. So for me, I had like a bigger variety of role models I could choose from, getting some examples to what to do. But hydrogen, if I think about hydrogen, I mean, we talked about it before, like what we know about, I know also about hydrogen. There are not that much big players right now in this industry. So how did you decide which examples to follow? Or how did you choose your examples in the first place?
I think, like, being very honest, I don't have any example. It's like I have to make my own way up, because there's all the old player from oil and gas industry are now in hydrogen, but there's no example. They are like made 300 years ago. So what am I doing? So I was trying to make up my own example, actually, and I had nothing, no one to follow.
No one to follow.
Yeah,
no advice to follow.
No, really not.
So how did you make your own one? Your own advice, basically.
I did a lot of, let's say, accelerator programs. I think you've been in one too. Yeah, and when you talk to founders, you get a feed, and to experienced people, German accelerator, for example. And
yeah, you recommended me the German accelerator. Yes.
And to everyone who is like being very young and wanted to decide, I swear, even though it's not providing you much input, but it helps you a lot to think about differently about how can I structure it.
100%. Especially when you meet other peers that are founders. Like as soon as you meet other founders, everything feels so more realistic.
Yes.
Because if you're only surrounded with your own like circle of friends and family, everything, no one does anything close to you, like no one is a founder, everything.
Yeah.
You kind of start to doubt if your decisions are the right ones. But if you meet other founders and it reinforces your own decision that you know you're doing the right thing, because you see other people also succeeding. 100%.
I would say so. And therefore, I really recommend for everyone, just go into one of these programs. It's incubator, accelerator, doesn't matter. But you're learning a lot of, let's even words, like, how can I say?
Like what MVP means, all these kind of things.
Basically. And you understand when to do which, because when you are a tech founder in beginning, you're just a techie. But once you are getting a real CEO and a real founder, this is taking a lot of time.
Because one thing is the technical side of things, which is like, I would say, not the easiest, but the easier thing to start with.
Yes.
But then the business development, the actually difficult thing, because there are not much information is out there. If you want to learn like AI or technology or something, there are a lot of like Coursera, online courses, YouTube, everything, ChatGPT. But business development is so much more not intransparent, but harder to find the right information.
It's complicated as well, because it's not, you can not follow one rule and one strict rule. No.
There's not the one way.
It's different.
It's so much variety in what you can choose to do.
And founders always help you, and mentors, maybe even mentors. I don't have a mentor, but you have one, I think.
Did you had ever a mentor?
No, I never had.
I had actually 3.
You see?
So because slowly you grow out your own mentor, like basically outgrow your own mentor, and then move to the next one, basically, in a good way, of course.
Yes.
My last mentor was a very cool person, actually. Also space founder, which is quite rare to find, and he found me actually.
Absolutely.
So also space tech founder, and a lot of interesting things I did not thought about. I learned during the journey, because I was with him on a lot of meetings, like because he was also raising funding, but on a significantly bigger round than I did. But it's very interesting if you just basically observe what your mentor is doing. Not even, I mean, once it's like taking advice from him, like what he says, like there are a few phrases I use all the time since he told me this. Like one thing that if you feel like very if something sucks a lot, you can say embrace the suck. Embrace the suck is like one of the words I hear all the time. Like from him, he said it once and a few times, and since then it's always plays in my head. Every time something is shit, it's like embrace the suck. Like it's like one of the things that my mentor said. But also not only the advice, but also just observing what he is doing in a meeting, like how he closes a deal. Yes. Because I'm not a salesperson, I did not know anything about sales, but he has a sales background, and I learned a lot about how sales work, about that is the whole field for itself. Yeah, and generally what he's doing, management, business development, sales, you can just, even though maybe it's on a bigger scale and different kind of, how can I say, impact, but however you can learn a lot. So I would even suggest people, and I think always in this accelerator programs there are always some mentors. Very good mentors you even if they are just for first 6 months, it's no problem. Yes, 100%. Get it. The good thing is with accelerators, especially like the big ones like YC or Techstars, there are a lot of very cool people there to mentor. Absolutely. Like founders who did $1 billion exits, like unicorn exits, and crazy if you talk with them, because one thing is like the actual knowledge you gain from that, but the other thing is like the feeling. Everything feels so touchable, so close. Because if someone talks about like big numbers, like hundreds of millions of dollars, it's just numbers on a spreadsheet. You don't have any attachment to these numbers or to finances in general. But then someone who actually does these big things, big transactions, big deals, and like is a unicorn founder, they talk in a way that makes the difficult things sound easy. I don't know how to otherwise phrase it, but they make it sound easy in a good way, because it now feels doable. Like it's not like a far-fetched dream anymore. It's the actual thing that can be done.
Absolutely. So therefore, I would suggest everyone go into Accelerator, even if it's not, first of all, maybe Y Combinator or whoever.
I mean, to be fair, Y Combinator Texas are like the Ivy League, top-notch, S-tier, AAA accelerators. They're like the highest of the highest.
Correct.
Might be difficult to enter it as
go to regional first, learn and grow.
German accelerator, like I said. The first incubator I actually went to was an amazing experience. Startup Teens.
Yes.
I even told you about it like years ago when I met you the first time. They're amazing. That they have a YouTube channel, also a mentoring program. Everything is for free, also equity free.
Yes,
money free, equity free, and it gives you so much valuable knowledge. It's crazy. So I can absolutely recommend it.
And maybe before we are swinging, I want to say, going back from the accelerator thing, maybe speaking about co-founders, because you're alone, I know, or not anymore, but
you've been. But I started alone.
Yes,
but you didn't.
I didn't. I met my co-founder like back in the day, and I think it is very good in my opinion. But we can hear your opinion later on.
First, tell me about your story with your co-founder. How you found him.
So my co-founder, I found him on LinkedIn, which is pretty unusual, and I didn't know him. And my co-founder is 58, so it's even a large age gap actually. But what I really like is this co-founder acts as a mentor as well, because he got a lot of experience. Mm-hmm. He got very good jobs, even in high levels, so he know how it works. He know how management works, and even the tax and financial stuff here in Germany. Yeah. But I think this is a very good experience, because you are just you're 50% and the other one is 50% as well, and you're like getting
you're shaking
hands. Not even. I mean, I don't even mean with shares.
Work, but
they're going hand in hand actually.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
So I would recommend to people maybe even to get a co-founder actually, if you find the right one, which is hard.
I did not have the choice of having a co-founder from the beginning. It's quite difficult to find the right one, because everyone is like motivated. Everyone says yes from the beginning, and then when you start, you realize they're not actually as skillful as you thought they would be, or not as motivated or committed as you thought they would be. I found a co-founder like a year after I incorporated, so quite a long time. Yeah. Also on LinkedIn. So it's not that unusual.
LinkedIn.
So LinkedIn is like the business platform. One is like, so 100%. He reached out to me actually, because he was working at Lufthansa Technik before, like an aerospace company in Germany. And he's an aerospace engineer himself. He's like early 30s. And he was kind of bored because the projects he was working on were not as cool sounding, or not as cool as you might imagine it to be. Because most aerospace engineers, they come like with a dream, like they're inspired by like the space shuttle or Apollo or SpaceX to go into aerospace engineering, or like these extreme big projects, and then you end up like at Airbus optimizing one single screw or one single like valve in the fuel tank, and you're bored for doing that for 10 years. So he was looking for an adventure, basically, something that's more pioneering. Like you know, the phrase like pioneering, like the feeling to do something new that hasn't been done
and
before.
Incredible for the world.
Yeah, something bigger, not only from the financial perspective, like doing like the founder type of story, but also like doing something that matters. And he reached out to me, and we talked exactly in this office, in this studio right now. The first time we talked, we talked on LinkedIn before, and then we met up here. And I told him a little bit to what we're doing. And he was 100% sold, like from the beginning, like from the first day I told him what we're doing. So we started to work on these projects together, and then a few months later, I decided, I was talking even with you about it, like decision,
I know,
if I should make him co-founder or not. And then we talked together for like hours. We were running actually, like you know, at the canal, like at the creek. We were running there like 10-12 kilometers and talking about which decision to take. So first I need to thank you for my decision, and I decided to make him co-founder. It was, I think, one of the best decisions I did since incorporation. because he's not only skillful but also really committed.
Yes.
And this is the more difficult thing to find.
Yes.
Commitment is significantly more difficult to find than skill.
How did you manage? Because for me it is different. But how did you manage to trust someone, or even legally maybe as an advice? So what would you recommend people? Because you were right in the beginning, and I'll go to the question later on. You were saying, okay, there's always co-founders which are like taking equity and then jumping away in 6 months. So how do you deal with it?
To jump back, I mean, this specific thing I could talk about like for multiple episodes. I started my first company when I was like 14, 15, and then my co-founder like a year later stole it from me because I was underage and I couldn't do anything legally against it. So I was a little bit experienced with what could go wrong if I don't watch for the legal stuff. And I had a very good lawyer since then. So I just asked my lawyer what to do. And I also looked on internet and asked AI like ChatGPT, Grok, what to do. And there's something quite interesting that's called co-founder vesting options, or stock option vesting for co-founders.
Tell me.
Do you do it? No, you don't do it with Chris.
I don't do it, no, but
you have a 50-50 split. No, I have a different. So basically means it's like a subscription model where your co-founder or your employee gets monthly vested shares. Like you basically say, okay, we have like 1,000 shares of incorporation. I'll give you 250, but not all at once. I will spread it over a 4-year term, and then every month you get it equally spent the shares. So they're actually committed. So when they leave, they just stop vesting shares. And there's something else called a cliff, which basically means, so if you leave before the cliff comes, then all your shares you already vested are revoked again. So it's usually 6 to 12 months. So if he leaves 6 months, earlier than 6 months after starting as a co-founder, as an employee, and then he leaves again, he doesn't keep the shares he vested during the 6 months.
Okay, so he loses all.
Yes, of the shares within the 6 months. So they are committed to stay longer. In this case, we have a very simple, exactly like that, the system. Yeah. So there's a cliff. He's also, I think, past the cliff already. And now the vesting terms continues. So I don't have a 50-50 split. I have majority equity right now. Because I also started from the beginning and we negotiated on that. But I did it with the vesting terms. So in the case that he would leave, which doesn't sound like he would do that, but in the case it does, you never know, we are safe.
Yes.
Because I think legal stuff is one of the things you can mess up the big time. When you make a mistake, the impact is the biggest when you do it in legal. Because if you make a technical mistake, who cares? With another prototype, it's not that big of a deal. But if you do legally a mistake, then the impact is much greater. So you need to be more careful. I'm significantly more careful since then. But I can also recommend it to be when it on the legal side a little bit more careful, because with technology you can just break prototypes one after another and just build a new one. It's like, who cares? As long as no one gets hurt, you can do what you want. But legally you need to be careful.
I would sum it up with the German sentence, and I now translate it to English. Like, trusting someone is good, but having control of it is better.
Oh, 100%. I don't think the phrase is only in Germany. I think a lot of countries...
It is a German sentence, but yes.
I mean, we translated it from German, but I know the sentence and I 100% approve it. Trust is good, but control is better. So legally be on the safe side. So I have a very good legal guy in my company that is quite good.
Would you say it is important directly to have someone who is legally, who's supporting you legally directly?
Yes.
Okay.
It depends on what business you have. You have a aerospace company. If you make a mistake, the impact is quite big.
Yeah.
Recently there was an issue. I don't know if you heard about it, but a piece of space debris, a Chinese satellite, fell down on a strike Boeing 737 MAX.
Really?
Yeah, a satellite was striking a plane. Good thing is no one died or anything bad happened. Just the plane got damaged and some people got hurt, which is of course very bad. If this would happen to us, it would be an absolute catastrophe. If you have like a B2B ASS company, this could not really happen. Still, you should have good legal lawyers for that. But for a space company where you can do mistakes that have a very, very big impact on people, if something goes wrong, I would be quite careful on a legal case. So I have actually a legal director in my company who does all the paperwork, also the license filling and everything. That's in any case important for.
But at which point of the startup would you say it is important? So I think not directly from.
So it's not really one point where it's like that. It's as soon as you feel you're doing something unjustifiably risky.
Okay.
Because usually you have like justified, like calculated risk, where you know what happened, the outcome. But if you have not the privilege of basically calculating, but and knowing what the outcome of could be on a risk. Like if you know like two outcomes, like there's Jeff Bezos said it a smart way, a two-way door. Like I saw this clip recently where he told the moderator on the show that when he started AWS, like one of the biggest businesses they're doing, Amazon, like the web services, they did not know if this would be a success, but it's a two-way door. If it would fail, they can just return back to their normal business, like fulfillment, like delivery, like they do now. So this is a two-way door where you know that if it fails, the outcome. So if it fails, then the company fails, go bankrupt. If you do something where the risk is not calculatable, where you don't know what the potential outcome it could be, where you don't know how far it could fall down, then I would get a good lawyer and consult him first before I do it.
So once you get the feeling like it could be tricky, you should get it.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, calculated risk is a whole thing for itself to talk about it. Because in social media, we always say take risk, and then many people do blind risk and don't know what could happen. I always say take calculated risks. So actually brainstorm what the potential outcomes could be and then decide based on that. So if you know it's a two-way door, you can go back if it's not working, then absolutely you should 100% do it. If it's a one-way door, be more careful. Maybe consult a lawyer and other people on doing that.
Absolutely. I agree.
Very
okay, but how would you say? Let's get from this management side and first days of startups, because many people may ask how to get to money. Actually, money is key.
Yes.
So how do you get the feeling of getting an investor, and what would you maybe advise someone?
Go through an accelerator, because they have a very big network of investors, and if you try to do it yourself, like I thought I was doing in the beginning, I met a lot of, how do I phrase it? I call them fugazis, which basically means they're people that say something that isn't true or to say they are something that they aren't. Usually they're people that say they have money and they don't. These fugazis are quite a lot in the world, and especially if you reach out to random people on LinkedIn, you find a lot of them. Yes. So, and usually on accelerators, they are filtered out before they can reach any startup through the accelerator. So I would recommend finding investors through an incubator or accelerator, because they already have a curated network of investors that are reliable and trustworthy. If you do the research yourself, you need to go through all the slop in between, like all the fluff. And that's a lot of fluff. Otherwise, there's one very cool phrase I always say to other founders is, we don't chase, we attract. You know the meme, like?
Yes,
on social media, we don't chase, we attract. For startups, it's, I would say, 100% true. Like if you try to reach out to thousands of investors, it's pain, and most of them will deny it. Yes. But if you make yourself so attractive as a startup, like be such a big flex basically in public, like you with your Forbes magazine right now, then many investors will approach you, and the probability that they accept is significantly higher. Then you just need to pass the due diligence and legal stuff, and then you're done with it. So.
I would say two things. First of all, it is very hard, especially for software companies, to make yourself exceptional. So therefore, you have to reach out to investors. However, I would suppose to people say, okay, first of all, go to investors, which you know for a fact they will not invest, but let's get their opinion, because you're doing mistakes as well.
Yeah,
so you learn, and they'll tell.
I mean, it's very good. So if you get denied by investors, it's not always a bad thing. It's very good if they give you a reason why they denied it.
Yes.
So there are many investors who will just not respond, just ghost you, or will just say like an AI-generated message that it's not like what they're looking for. So this is quite whack. But some investors, they really take the time to actually give you like honest feedback why they're not willing to invest, and then you can improve on it, like iterate on that. You know, and what you did wrong and how to fix it.
Do your mistakes, because it's very important.
Yeah, and you could also apply multiple times to the same investor. Like it's not like it's not a one door choice basically. You can
and getting, I think, which came to my mind is, and getting warm intros, maybe getting
introductions. 100%. If someone else introduces you to an investor, the probability of them accepting it is significantly higher than if you just cold outreach.
Way higher.
It's such a massive leverage.
Maybe try to message people on LinkedIn, I would say, because email is always, it's blocked. They will never respond.
2 weeks till they respond, and then if they respond, it's ChatGPT generated, and they didn't even read it in the first place. So LinkedIn just direct messages.
Just do cold DMing, and if they they might introduce you, because network is key.
If you reach to someone out who then introduces you to an investor than if you reach to them out directly. Outreach.
Because especially, network is absolute key.
Your network is your net worth.
It is.
You know the phrase. Yeah, it's
it is. True. People may think it is not, but it is really, really important to have. Actually.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Very, very good. Very good.
Interesting to talk with you. I think you're by far now the most interesting from a founder's perspective speaker I had so far on the podcast. I mean, it's a new podcast I'm doing, like first principle thinking. So you're also in a lot of podcasts recently. So
yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the Forbes article we have around here?
Yes,
so
for sure.
It's a very big flex.
Maybe I'll
Please
put
show
on
the page. Show the page in the camera. Because I think this is like one of the biggest flexes you can have as a first-time founder. Here, this thing. Show the camera. Show it out to maybe this camera, the big one here. This is the...
Yes. So we got an article there because once we got the 10 million deal, and it was due to network actually. If you get intros by intros, you get network. And so we got a deal. And then we got an intro to Forbes by someone, Fabian. Thank you very much if you're listening. Thank you. And they were like, oh, we love this story. Like there's someone doing something in this new industry. We love it. And so we made this article perfect. I love it so much. And now I'm super happy actually.
Amazing. Wow, I have a lot of interesting topics we talked about today.
Yes, and even fundamental. Yes,
it was very cool. We should do totally next episode soon.
Yeah, for sure.
So we
can split it up and see where potential is.
You will for sure see him again on this podcast.
Yeah.
Very good. Amazing. Maybe next episode in Dubai.
Oh yes,
maybe in the Dubai
come to Dubai and then
come to Dubai. Yeah.
Because I didn't told you, but our headquarters in Dubai. So
I convinced you even to move to Dubai.
That's true.
Back then it was like how long was it ago? Like 2 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
First time, together in Dubai. The first time we went together to the address Skyview, the most amazing pasta of all time.
Shout outs to Skyview.
Shout out to the address Skyview. My god, amazing place. Amazing.
And then we now moved to Dubai. Wow.
It's so much happened.
Incredible.
But I think we talked a lot of already. The cameras will overheat in like 2 minutes, so I think we should wrap up this episode, and then on the next episode we will elaborate a little bit more on our journey, how we came to Dubai and everything else.
Sure.
So if you don't want to miss any more updates about the episode, subscribe to the channel and press the bell so you don't miss any new episodes. And do you want to say something?
Guys, I think which is very important if this is going to founders, just keep going. It looks like a sentence, but just keep going. There's always downs, there's always up,
it's
but
part
just
of the journey.
Keep doing. Yes.
Always go on. Always
same. I think you agree, right? It's always down, high, down, high.
Always continue. Always push.
Always push.
Yeah.
This is my
amazing
message.
Hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much.